Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning into my first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube video. I am very excited to be part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. It's been one that I've seen to be very accepting, especially through Twitter. So link over here. Yeah, link over here to follow me on Twitter. I'll follow back, interact with me. It's going to be a great time. So I am only 1 year into this card game, a year and a few months, but really I've been only playing this game for 3 months total, like of actually playing and studying. So I'm very green. There's going to be a lot of misplays, a lot of mistakes, a lot of me just not reading and thinking, oh, that card's not a big deal. Dragoon, really? Red Eyes Dragoon's not a big deal, honey? Really? So there's going to be a lot of that. So please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me about what you like out of my content. What you would like to see. And just tell me about you. Tell me about your knowledge of the game. I'm here to learn, not just from my own mistakes or from my friend who I'll talk about in a little bit, but I want to learn from you. What do you have? What are your thoughts? The deck that we are going to be highlighting today is the MARINCESS strategy. It is one that I am very excited about because there is support for it coming out this November the 20th, as part of the Duelists of the Abyss booster packs. I'm very excited to buy a box, open them up, and hopefully get the cards that I want. Again, I'm here to learn. If you have any decks that you would like to see me learn, definitely leave it in the comments. Tell me which deck it is, and I'll definitely make schedules. I'll plan my days around learning these decks, days, weeks at a time, and streaming it. So if you want to catch me on stream learning these, follow me on Twitch, jfez8. That's where I'll do everything live. My learning, my dueling, and then I'll make deck profiles here. Or, you know, I'll talk about something that I really loved here on YouTube as well. So again, like, comment, subscribe. I'm really excited. Let's get to the deck profile. It's really good to take a deep breath every now and then. You get to clear your mind. But also, just taking a deep breath because what a great deck that I have. I really like it. I really love it. It's one that I hope to master more. I seem to learn more the more that I play it. It's got great ratios, I think, and it's great. It's got great protection, and it's got great ways to work around hand traps. So let's look at it. So for your MARINCESS cards, you have 3 copies of Sleepy Maiden, 3 copies of Blue Tang, 3 copies of Pascalis, 3 copies of Spring Girl, 2 copies of Seahorse, and 2 copies of MARINCESS Mandarin. This whole deck works together as a unit to be consistent. The main word for this deck is consistency, or consistent, or consistential. Any variety of the word consistent, really. That's what this deck is all about. Yes, I do know that one word that I said was made up. I know that. I'm sorry about that. So what we're looking for here is to really get Blue Tang and Pascalis to really work together to facilitate action. Blue Tang is what is basically the crux of this deck. You want to use its effect to send another MARINCESS monster to the graveyard, because there are ways to get monsters from the graveyard to your hand. You're looking at Blue Slug, Coral Anemone, which not only can it bring a card to your hand, but it can also special summon a monster from the graveyard to the field, to a zone that it points to. And you also have Marbled Rock, which is the primary effect is bring a card from the graveyard to your hand. Now, the cool thing about all of this is that there are ways to get cards into the graveyard. Some of them more reliable than others, like Blue Tang. Blue Tang is 100%. You're going to get a card into the graveyard. However, it can be a little tricky if it gets, you know, effect veilered or anything to that effect. It's just, it feels really bad when it gets effect veilered, essentially. However, there is another card that is a little more risky, and you shouldn't put your eggs in that basket. MARINCESS Spring Girl, when it is used as link material, it does get to send cards from the top of the deck equal to the number of MARINCESS monsters that you control into the graveyard. And then for each MARINCESS monster that was sent to the graveyard, you deal 200 damage to your opponent's life points. Great, cool, not as consistent. Mostly you just want to use Wu-Tang for that. On to the hand traps, we do have Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. I'm interchanging between this card and Ghost Ogre, but with this card, you can actually anticipate Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. Phantasme is a great card against this deck because we are link climbing the whole time. But if you have this card in your open and they have Fantastical Dragon Phantasme and they summon it out on you, you can use this card to negate its effects for the rest of the turn. Also, if that card leaves the field, your opponent takes damage equal to its original attack. How are we able to do that? Marincess Aqua Argonaut. This is a huge card that just came out. It's fantastic for this strategy. It also kicked out Great Bubble Reef from my deck. There are people out there who are thinking, oh, what about Great Bubble Reef? What about Crystal Heart? You protect all that stuff. Whatever. I can do a whole different video about why I don't want to do that anymore. The same turn that Aqua Argonaut is sent out to the field, it can also send one water monster that you control, and any monster or any card that your opponent controls, return them to hand. So Phantasme is sent to the hand. If Ghost Mourner has its effect on it, Phantasme is going to do damage to the opponent. It's great. I think Ghost Mourner is a great answer to Phantasme, and just a great answer in general. If you have to go second, and you can use this against so many other strategies. I'm looking right at you, Sword Soul. I'm looking right at you. The other monster hand trap that we have here is Effect Veiler. Yeah, cool. Moving on, we have Call by the Grave. Just absolutely great to have it in your hand, especially if you get Ash Blossom, you get Ghost Ogre, literally anything. Droll and Lockbird, literally anything. It's a great card, Called by the Grave. Yeah. On to the Marincess spells that you really want to see. Marincess Battle Ocean at 3, Marincess Dive 2. I did 3 Battle Ocean. I want a better chance for me to have Battle Ocean in my hand. I really do. Marincess Dive, because if so, then Marincess Dive can be brought to my hand using the effects of Sea Angel. Marincess Sea Angel, when it is linked out, you can send any Marincess spell card from the deck to your hand. These two work in tandem. If Battle Ocean is out in the field zone, Marincess Dive, you can use it as long as Battle Ocean is in the field zone to special summon a Marincess monster from your deck. Great card. Otherwise, its first effect, you can target one non-link Marincess monster in your graveyard and special summon it. That's fair enough as it is, but Marincess Dive, if you can use that to get Pascalis out there and you already have Spring Girl or Maiden or Blue Tang in your hand, you can then Pascalis on summon can use its effect to special summon any Marincess card from your hand in defense position. Just a great card, and that's why it's up there for me with Blue Tang as one of the cards that you really want to see in your opening hand. Next, we have Signet Mining. Fantastic card. These could very much be small worlds, and I'm really thinking about it because small world, not only can you just like search around your deck to look for that starter card that you need, like Blue Tang or Pascalis, but you can also get a different hand trap. If you happen to know what deck they have, then you can just use Small World to get the specific hand trap that you need. It's just a really good card, Small World. Again, the point of this deck is consistency, and Signet Mining consistently helps you get out those Marincess monsters that you need. So onto the traps, we have Marincess Wave, Infinite Impermanence, and Goes in Match. 3 of each. Goes in Match, I'll talk about here in a second. Infinite Impermanence, we all know what it does. Marincess Wave is essentially infinite impermanence on some special Marincess drugs. I like to say that Marincess Wave has 3 levels to it. First level is as long as you have a Marincess Link monster out there, you can activate its effect, which is target an opponent's face-up monster and its effects are negated for the rest of the turn. Cool. That's essentially infinite impermanence, but you gotta have a Marincess Link monster out there. Level 2, if you control a Marincess Link 2 or higher monster, then all your cards are unaffected by your opponent's card effects for the rest of the turn. Fantastic. And you just gotta have a Marincess Link 2 or higher. Level 3, if you control a Marincess Link 3 or higher monster, you can activate it from your hand. Again, consistency. This deck can consistently get a MARINCESS Link 3 or higher monster out there, even through hand traps. So what that means is that MARINCESS Wave, if you get it in your hand, you're basically going to be able to always have an infinite impermanence. Also, spoiler alert, there is a way to always get MARINCESS Wave into your hand if you don't start it off with. But we'll talk about that when we get to the extra deck. Goes in match, I like to call the clutch of the deck. All you have are water monsters. It can burn me. It has burned me in the past, especially if the opponent can change the attributes of my cards, and then I can't summon anything anymore because I'm trying to attempt to control another card. Yeah, it burns me, but if you can set it up properly and if you don't misplay it the way that I misplay it, well, then essentially you got yourself a game-winning card. So let's get to the extra deck. We have 2 each of MARINCESS Sea Angel, MARINCESS Blue Slug, and MARINCESS Coral Anemone. What's the keyword again? I'll give you 5 seconds. You were too late. It's consistency. So MARINCESS Sea Angel, when it's link summoned out, you can bring a MARINCESS spell to your hand. We talked about that. MARINCESS Blue Slug, maybe we touched on a little bit, but MARINCESS Blue Slug on link summon, you can send a, target 1 MARINCESS monster in your graveyard, bring it to your hand. That's great, and oftentimes you want that to be Seahorse. Also, there's another clause to it which I always ignore, which is you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for water monsters. Why do I have goes in match? MARINCESS Coral Anemone, just very popular in a bunch of other strategies. Target a water monster in your graveyard with 1500 or less attack. Any water monster, so it doesn't have to be MARINCESS, but any water monster, you special summon out to the zone that it points to. Just great for extending your play. If you already have a level 4 in your graveyard and you need to get another one out there so you can complete Bahamut Shark. And then what happens when it leaves the field? Oh, you just, nothing really happens except for that you can target a MARINCESS card in your graveyard and then you add it to your turn, to your hand. So cool, you got 2 ways so far to add a card from the graveyard to your hand. Cool. How about a third one? Link 3, MARINCESS Marbled Rock. You summon it out, and then you can activate its effect to target 1 MARINCESS card in your graveyard, except MARINCESS Marbled Rock, add it to your hand. That is so crazy. Also, there's another effect to it when an opponent's monster declares an attack. So any monster declare attack on whoever, you can send 1 MARINCESS monster from your hand to the graveyard. For that battle, monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage. That is crazy, especially for the interaction that it has with Wonderheart and Aqua Argonaut. Both cards which, if there are MARINCESS Link monsters equipped to it, they can special summon them into the main monster zone to fight or to use an effect. And Marbled Rock would be a great card to do that for. Moving on to MARINCESS Coral Triangle, and Konami was being really cute with this card. If you'll notice, there are, of course it's Link 3. There are going to be 3 arrows, but they are all in a triangle for this card. Cool, Konami. So I'm just going to read this straight up from the text. You can send 1 water monster from your hand to the graveyard. Easily doable because you have Coral Anemone and you have Blue Slug to send cards to your hand. So you get that water monster from your hand to the graveyard. Then you can add 1 MARINCESS Trap to your hand. That's what I was talking about earlier. If you don't see MARINCESS Wave in your hand when you open, you can sure as hell just go for the Coral Triangle and then use its effect to bring MARINCESS Wave into your hand. It's that simple. It is that simple. And let's say that for the next turn, your opponent clears your board and did some substantial damage to your life points. You can still make plays with this card in your graveyard. You can banish it, and then you can special summon as many Link water monsters from your graveyard whose total Link ratings equal 3. So that could be either Coral Anemone and either Sea Angel or Blue Slug, or just straight up Marbled Rock, or just those are just your only options. But Coral Anemone is great because you get to then special summon something else from the graveyard on your next turn. It's a great way to start a play. And especially if you have Coral Anemone and Pascalis in your graveyard. So you banish Coral Triangle, Coral Anemone goes out there, then you special summon Pascalis. And if you already have a MARINCESS monster in your hand, Pascalis effect to special summon that from your hand, the plays write themselves with this deck. Now we're on to the MARINCESS Wonderheart. And I know I told you throughout this video that Consistency is the key to this deck, but I was lying to you. That's right, I was lying to you so that we get this curveball. See, I'm trying to add some entertainment value to these videos. No, the key is MARINCESS mommy hands. This is one of the two mommies of this deck, MARINCESS Wonderheart, huge raid boss battler. Here's what happens. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles a monster, quick effect, you can special summon one of your MARINCESS monster cards equipped to this card. Also, this card cannot be destroyed by that battle, and you take no battle damage from that battle. Equip that special monster to this card during the end phase. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon one Link 3 or lower MARINCESS monster from your graveyard. So that latest point is pretty great, because if it goes into the graveyard and it's equipped with a bunch of other stuff, you can bet that Marbled Rock was probably equipped to it. Or maybe Marbled Rock was already special summoned out using Wonderheart's effect to fight alongside Wonderheart. Wonderheart, as much as a mommy she is, she says, hey, sister, come here with me. Let's fight. Let's tussle. Let's take our earrings out. Let's go. They're going to fight. They are day ones. This is a really good card, especially on your turn 3 or 4. If Aqua Argonaut gets taken out after your initial setup, turn 3 or 4, if Miss MARINCESS Wonderheart is out there and she gets to equip her sisters with her, then there's gonna be some fighting going on. There's gonna be some fighting going on, and I'm here for it every step of the way. Moving on, MARINCESS Aqua Argonaut. This is a great card. I touched on it earlier when it came to the interaction between Phantasma and Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. Yeah, this is ultimate mommy, essentially. Your opponent's monsters cannot attack other monsters while this card is in the extra monster zone. So if you get your two totally awesomes out there, they can't be touched. They absolutely cannot be touched. And if you somehow get, Wonderheart out there as well, yeah, they just can't be touched as long as Aqua Argonaut is there in the main monster zone. But they can't be touched by battle. And then once per turn, these effects can take place as well. You can target one water monster you control and one card your opponent controls. Return them to the hand. We talked about that earlier. Great interaction. I love it. And then finally, when a spell, trap card, or effect is activated on the field during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can special summon one of your MARINCESS monsters that is equipped to it. And then if you do, negate that activated effect. This is a really cool interaction to me, because that means you could get Marbled Rock out there into your main monster zone when your opponent is just about to strike or is building up the board to strike. That means Marbled Rock can get out there and prevent some damage from happening. It's a really good interaction that I like. Could be a lot better if it could be done during either turn, but nonetheless, it would probably have made this card a little too broken. Maybe. I'm not too sure. I mean, of course I'm not too sure. I'm only 3 months into this game. Concurrently, like altogether. Like net-wise, I'm only 3 months into this game. Moving on, we have this great duo. You know them. You love them. Bahamut Shark. Two of them. Two totally awesomes. There are ways to get two Toads out there, and you're going to see it with my deck combos, or with my test hands. And then finally, we have number 4, Stealth Kraken. This is not part of the Duelist of the Abyss booster that's coming out, but it's also still not released. It came out for the OCG back in June, and I can only imagine it'll come out for the TCG in January, February, something like that. So in the meantime, I'll have to find some. Maybe I'll have to use Tornado Dragon or Abyss Dweller. One of those two until I get Stealth Kraken. But essentially what Stealth Kraken does is that all face-up monsters on the field become water, and then once per turn during the main phase, quick effect, you can destroy one water monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the attack it had on the field. So if you're able to, bait out gates, omni negates, traps, if you're able to bait them out of your opponent, get Kraken out there to destroy that big raid boss that they have. Maybe something has 6,800 damage. You destroy that card, and you also deal 3,400 damage to their life points. Great card. I'm really excited for when it comes out, and I just need information onto what that is. If you happen to know the leaks, please tell me. Comment, please. Comment, please. Onto the side deck, we have 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 No Material, These are just great. No material, great against this deck and great against the Sword Souls. And of course, Ghost Ogre is also really good against the Sword Souls as well. We also have Rivalry of Warlords. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this in the deck, but it is great against, you know, the decks that are like that hold the invoked engines. So invoked El Shaddai, invoked Dogmatica, a few other decks that, you know, have to have different types of monsters out there to really benefit from each other. This is a good card, but it could be leaving. And then back row clearance, we have Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, and then to really help me on turn 2 or game 2, game 3, especially if I'm going against the Sword Souls, Dark Ruler no more. Very excited. Very excited about this deck in general as a whole. Are there ways to improve it? I think so. But as of now, I'm completely happy with the consistency and with the mommy Marincess hands that we have. So that being said, let's go straight to the 2, 3, and 5 card hand tests. All right, so those were the hand tests. Thank you for watching my deck profile, the hand tests. I appreciate it so much. In the description below, you'll see links to Natsu Fairy Tale Pot, his Twitch, his YouTube. He is my best friend. He's the one who got me into this game. He handed me one of his copies of Totally Awesome. I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'm going to get into this game. And it was the second time I got into this game. I got into the game when I was like 10 or 12 with Dark Magician, and then none of the kids wanted to teach me how to play. So then I just bought the cards for no reason, and then I just had no one to play with. And finally, but certainly not least, my social media. You can interact with me on Twitter at any time. I just do ask that you are at least 18 years of age, because I do sometimes tweet some stuff that's like talking about, you know, I mean, I don't get rated X with it, but I do get, you know, a little rated R sometimes. And as for my Instagram and TikTok, I don't do a whole lot of content on there, but when I do finally adopt the 2 kitties that I want to have, yeah, you're going to be seeing them all the time. So definitely stay tuned, not only on all my social media, but here on YouTube. I'm very excited. This is me, MARINCESS, diving into the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and I'm really excited to go forward. Please, let's interact. Let's all learn. Very excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful Monday.